Welcome everyone. First of all, I think I want to give a big thank you for everyone coming in and listening into our Twimbit open house. I'm Aiman, a fellow analyst in Twimbit, and I cover disruptive technologies that is shaping our future world. I am extremely thrilled and excited to present to all of you today, and I hope I can bring you tremendous value today with my presentation. To begin my presentation, I want to bring your attention towards creators. Now, you might be wondering, why would I be interested in creators? What's their relation to the metaverse? Well, creators bring tremendous amount of value to our, sorry, okay. Well, creators bring tremendous amount of joy, motivation, and inspiration to our daily lives. These are people like your artists, the musicians that we listen to hours in a day, and more recently, the content creators like the podcasters, your TikTok influencers, your YouTubers, streamers that create all the wonderful content that we consume every day. These creators are the backbone of the social network platforms they provide. The- on the social network platforms, sorry. They provide the very content that makes these platforms what they are today. Unfortunately, there isn't a mechanism in place to match the contribution they provide on these platforms. And it's about time we truly unlock the value of these wonderful creators. But I want to give you a common problem we have today with the platforms. To do that, I want to bring in Spotify as an example. They are an incredibly successful company with over 155 million premium subscribers, allowing musicians to give easy access to their listeners. But how do they pay the artists in return? They use a pooled payout system where all the subscription revenue is collected and then redistributed to intermediaries such as record labels and publishers that hold contracts with these artists. And bear in mind, they pay roughly 0.004 USD per stream. So a million would get you around 4,000. So this leaves us with a very skewed incentive model that favors the platform over the very creators that provide the content. It makes it very difficult for the creators to actually live off from their art. But actually, this is a symptom of the limitations that we have to design such platforms for the creators. The missing piece here is the technology. There isn't a proven mechanism that can allow these companies to create an efficient model to provide better contribution to these very creators. And this is where the metaverse comes in. Now, before I continue speaking about the metaverse, I think it's super important to break free from a common misconception that is it is about virtual meetings, virtual reality, or augmented reality. Sure, that's interesting, but that isn't what makes it revolutionary. Those are merely mobile computing interfaces that we use to interact with the metaverse. Instead, I want you to consider thinking about the metaverse as a completely new internet native economy that uses token to mediate the transactions that covers experiences ranging from social, creative, work, and play. And this is what excites me most about the metaverse, is that it brings along a suite of technologies that can enable the creator economy. Technologies such as NFTs, Web3, which is a decentralized form of the internet, and my personal interest, smart contracts, to govern the transactions between any parties. These technologies provide crucial elements such as the infrastructure, introducing digital ownership, and a medium of transaction and governance. In fact, reports are suggesting that this economy can trigger a market value of roughly 800 billion USD, giving the opportunity for anyone to participate. And to give you some justifications, even now, the market value from the virtual goods is roughly 35 billion. And to explain this sort of transaction, I can give you an example. If I am a Fortnite player and I bought items from the developer Epic Games, the value and amount of those type of transactions accrue to roughly 35 billion. Now, I want you to just take a moment to imagine the immense amount of economic activity, creation, and engagement when you allow the participants and users themselves to create, buy, build, sell, and trade their own virtual items, their own creations, skins, and art. And not only on one platform, but across platforms. This is the very reason why I have been so immersed in this topic, because I believe it will kickstart the new golden generation of creators. Now, I was thinking about, they've been saying that robots can come in and take a majority or maybe millions of jobs. I think it's fine because right now we've got such an amazing opportunity here. with Metaverse that can provide new careers and livelihoods for everyone. So let's look at an example of how a future platform model may look like. Here, I present an upcoming startup, Sound, that is using NFTs to help musicians. There are bigger companies doing NFT with music, but I personally chose this one because I think it gives a very clear example on how the elements of Metaverse can actually be used in their own native way. So sound aims to solve a couple of problems. One, they allow fans to value artists personally. What do I mean by this? So with Spotify, they use a pooled payout system, right? And say I enjoy listening to lesser known artists, I wouldn't be able to directly support them because all my subscriptions goes into a pooled payout system that might favor all those top artists that I may not even listen to. But in sound, with NFTs in place, I can directly express my value to those musicians by owning the very NFTs that this artist issue when they release a song. And I can even get a piece of that song, like what you see here with the small icons that I've actually given the arrows. Those are actually owners of NFTs. And these are some of the comments that they've actually provided. So this opens up so many opportunities for community engagement because now the creator can now exactly know exactly who their fans are, create special NFTs that it can include maybe a meet and greet, early access to song releases or albums, and even concert access in real life. And lastly, of course, these musicians can now earn a bigger share. Even in their launch, it took Sound only a few minutes to generate roughly 21 million streams worth of revenue for 7 artists, showcasing that with digital ownership, these musicians can make a living from their true 100 superfans rather than a million of listeners. It opens up so many opportunities for small time creators to actually live off from their art and actually engage in their art. So in essence, I believe we're moving from a shift from a founder-centric model to a creator-centric model, where when the platform wins, both the founders and the creators win, creating a win-win situation for every contributor to the platform. And you might be thinking now, Aiman, there's a lot of opportunities for individual creators and future founders. But what about businesses today? Is there room for you? So the question is, how can you participate? To answer this, I think it's really important to understand that the elements of metaverse, like NFTs or in smart contracts, is not limited to purely the virtual world. In fact, it can bring extremely impactful real life implications. The most common way right now to experiment with NFT, the most common way right now is to experiment with NFTs. For example, take Nike. They have recently started an NFT project with their Crypto Kick sneaker collection. How this works is that when a consumer buys a Crypto Kick in real life, they would also get an NFT upon purchase to represent this very digital asset. This NFT allows a Nike to track the authenticity both in reality and the virtual world. For the consumer, they could even use this NFT to showcase it in the metaverse and have complete ownership over this asset, even in the virtual world. And I believe they can even mash it up with other NFT holders of these crypto kicks to actually build new sneakers. And also, another interesting example is Coca Cola. They initiated an NFT auction to honor International Friendship Day. And with these NFTs, the bidder is even entitled to real life assets such as the limited edition Coca Cola refrigerator. All of this for a charitable event that would go to support their longtime partner, Special Olympics International. So it's very clear that when people talk about metaverse, please understand that it has real life implications, and I think that's the one of the biggest takeaways here. And to end it, some takeaways. I think it's quite common to hear this analogy, but I think it's also important to point out that we're very, very early. And this period is similar maybe to the 1990s. And I would say it could be even bigger considering how connected we are today. I would say please prepare for disruption. 1990s, it may take like a decade or so for Google to come up and also Facebook. But right now, with how quick technology, builds on, it could be less than 10 years, right? And I would say please build expertise in cryptocurrencies. Whether you like it or not, it's big enough to make China ban it. So it would impact your business either way. Lastly, experiment with native NFT use cases. For example, CSR projects, I think it's a low risk projects for you to work on and try to explore accepting cryptocurrencies and smart contracts in some form or another. That's all from me today. A big thank you for everyone listening, and I hope I leave you as excited and curious as I am. As always, I am very willing to continue our conversation. So you can find me on Twimbit at iman@twimbit.com or on LinkedIn. Also, as Sume mentioned, stay tuned for our new upcoming podcast, Asia Tech Room. Extremely interesting, where myself and my colleague William will give you deeper insights on specific use cases on NFTs. Until then, thank you very much.